I don't know whether to laugh or to cry, because I cannot believe that we have to deal with 4 years of this crap, and it hasn't even started yet. And here we are with Donald Trump now going after the country of Panama, saying this.
Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said, take it back. That's a good idea. Where do you come from, sir? He doesn't come from Panama. Oh, yeah, good. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing, and drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days. And
all right, we don't have to watch this whole thing. He's going to ramble. But basically what he says in this is that we're getting ripped off. We pay too much to the Panama Canal. We are the richest country in the world. He is cheap, and we're the richest country in the world, first off. Secondly, and then he says that we actually own the Panama Canal, that Panama doesn't own it. We own it, and we just have to pay them. So the president of Panama responded.
Que cada metro cuadrado del
It's
canal
in
de
Spanish.
Panama y su zona adyacente.
Can't speak Spanish. Someone did translate the important bits here. Panama's president responds to Donald Trump. Imagine what this man had something to do today. Jose Raul Molina had something to do today. Instead, he had to deal with a troll who was bothering him about some business that did not need to happen. Panama's president responds, every square mile of the Panama Canal and adjoining areas will remain under Panama's control. The country's independence and sovereignty aren't negotiable. Also, pushes back on Trump's claim that charges on U.S. ships are too high. And then we have this from the troll-in-chief, Donald Trump, saying, welcome to the United States Canal. And he puts the American flag there. And he responds then to the president of Panama, saying when he goes, every square meter of the Panama Canal belongs to Panama and will continue belonging to Panama. Donald Trump, the 78-year-old child, says, we'll see about that. Now, you might be wondering, why is this happening? Why is Donald Trump going after Panama? Well, we found out why. And that's because, real quick, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. It gets us into the algorithm so more pro-democracy Americans can see it. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And thanks so much. In 2018, Donald Trump's companies were accused of tax evasion in Panama. Here's a bit of that story. Trump companies accused of tax evasion in Panama. In the latest chapter in ongoing litigation, the private equity fund that bought what used to be called the Trump Ocean Club claims the Trump entities pocketed money that should have gone to the Panamanian government. Donald Trump, President of the United States, tax cheat. This is according to ProPublica. Here is the interesting bit. In a legal filing Monday and an ongoing lawsuit in Manhattan federal court, private equity manager Orestes Fintiklis, and the company he leads, Ithaca Capital Partners, claim that two Trump companies failed to pay Panamanian taxes, or Panama. That probably is right. I'm sorry. If you watch the channel, you know I try my best. Taxes equal to 12% of the management fees they drew from the hotel. The Trump entities were allegedly supposed to withhold those fees in advance and pay them to the government regardless of whether the property was profitable or not. Instead, the Trump companies simply kept the money, the suit claims, quote, thus intentionally evading taxes. That and other financial irregularities expose Fintiklis and the companies he represents to millions of dollars in liability. Have we heard this story before? Different characters, different settings, same story. According to the suit, which also claims Trump companies sought to cover up their actions, the filing does not say whether a tax penalty has been levied by Panamanian authorities. So they ended up taking his property. And here's some footage of that happening, which is quite cathartic. I mean, honestly, I need to set that as my alarm. I need to wake up to that. Now, do you remember Laura Loomer? Laura Loomer, who is the conspiracy theorist who promoted a 9/11 conspiracy theory and joined Donald Trump on the ceremonies in 9/11 during Trump's when I thought Donald Trump was for sure going to lose. Turns out none of this mattered, but she said 9/11 was an inside job and blah 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 blah. Well, she came out today saying that this was her idea. So when she did this in February. When President Trump gets back into office, he should take back the Panama Canal. This would be a huge way to stop the flow of illegal aliens in the United States, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, I remember telling President Trump this in person in February, that this would be a great idea. Well, just like everything else Laura Loomer says, that was a lie. I'm going to tell you why that's a lie in just a bit. She can't take credit for that one, but it also cannot happen. Here is a story from the Wall Street Journal that came out today, and you're not going to believe the title. Trump threatens to take control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. So he's also threatening Greenland. I'm going to tell you about that after this. But here's just like the logistics of this, because smart people actually have to, when the president of the United States or the president-elect says something stupid, unfortunately, honest, good, hardworking people have to then scramble to explain why it's not possible. But here we go. The U.S. government has no ability to restore control of the canal, which the U.S. built more than a century ago. The U.S. gradually handed back control of the canal, as well as the U.S. governed Panama Canal Zone, which ran through the middle of the country as a result of a 1977 treaty signed by President Jimmy Carter. Panama gained full control of the canal in 2000. And it says up here too, short of an invasion as the U.S. carried out in 1989, this is not happening. So I'm a little confused, because wasn't Donald Trump supposed to be the peace president? Wasn't he supposed to be the one, the dove, Donald the dove? Everything he's suggesting is crazy and would result in war. Here's another one. Donald Trump. He announced that he wanted Ken Howery to be his United States ambassador to the Kingdom of Denmark. This is his bio here, but then there's this interesting part people notice at the end. For purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Ken will do a wonderful job in representing the interests of the United States. Thank you, Ken. Okay, so you might not remember this, but Donald Trump floated this idea during his first term. There was a story on it that a billionaire convinced Trump that the U.S. should buy Greenland. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's just Donald Trump being Donald Trump. You know, he's an idiot. He'll say whatever. But no, it was no passing whim. While many assumed that at the time that it was just Mr. Trump being Mr. Trump, expressing a far-fetched thought that came into his head, in fact, the idea had been planted by one of his billionaire friends and became the subject of months of serious internal study and debate that flabbergasted cabinet secretaries and White House aides. And as this tweet said, let's just end it with this. For those keeping track, before Donald Trump has even started his presidency, he's already says he wants to take control of Canada, invade Mexico, steal the Panama Canal, and now take Greenland. So much for Donald the Dove.